Like religious congregants all over, the people of historic Brown Chapel AME Church turned off the lights and locked the doors at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic because it wasn't safe to gather for worship with a deadly virus circulating. For a time, the landmark church that launched a national voting rights movement in Selma, Alabama, was off-limits. What members found when they returned was heartbreaking. Termites had eaten so much wood that parts of the structure weren't stable anymore, said member Juanda Maxwell, and water leaks damaged walls. Mold was growing in parts of the building, where hundreds met before Alabama state troopers attacked voting rights demonstrators on Bloody Sunday in 1965 at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. "It's in horrible shape," said Maxwell. "It's a tough time. Because we were closed for a year, it exacerbated the problem with water coming in." The red brick church, with distinctive twin bell towers and a dome ceiling, tops this year's list of the nation's most endangered historic places, according to the Washington, D.C. based National Trust for Historic. Other places on the list include Chicano/AME murals painted on the sides of buildings in Colorado and inspired by the human rights and cultural movements of the 1960s and 70s. The Deborah Chapel, a Jewish mortuary building established in 1886 in Hartford, Connecticut. Francisco Sanchez Elementary. Brown Chapel, the first African Methodist Episcopal church in Alabama, was the site of preparations for a voting rights march from Selma-to-Montgomery on March 7, 1965, when police beat marchers led by the late Representative John Lewis, then a young activist. Weeks later, thousands gathered there before the Selma-to-Montgomery march led by the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.